let it go around if you want.
Yeah, we'll edit it or whatever. But I think you should explain the rule again. What is it called?
What, you talking about how I got out?
The 2045.
2040, yeah. See, you inside the jail.
Explain 2045 so folks, could know what that means.
All right, 2045. We're in the state of Louisiana. 2045, that's what we call it inside the prison. And for y'all that don't know me, I did 21 years in prison on a manslaughter charge. I was sentenced to 40 years, and I got out of prison on what they were asking about on the 2045. That's what we call it inside the jailhouse.
Okay.
But legally, it's called Act 133, which is if you have 20 years, and first of all, you have to be sentenced to 30 years or more. If you have 29 years and under, it don't apply to you. You have to be 30 years or more, right? So, and you have to have served 20 years and be 45 years old, 45 or older. That's why inside the jail they call it 2045.
Right.
So the act came into play in 2022. Oh, and also in order to make the parole, you had to be eligible for the parole. Although the law changed, but to be eligible for it, you had to be 2 years without a write-up, which is like, man, walking on eggshells in prison. Because it's so easy to get a write-up behind, especially depending on what prison you're at. Everybody, certain people enforce certain rules, certain with some people real strict on everything. But like they say Angola, for instance, it's kind of like lenient because they had a lot of lifers in them. This gonna probably be the end of some dudes, you know what I'm saying? They probably gonna die here. They filed in the course and get denied and stuff. And like Angola, they had dudes that this year alive, they got dudes up and locked up probably since the 60s and all that. They served 50 years, 55 years, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. So
they probably gonna die like that, so they kind of like lenient death. Because they ain't tripping on petty stuff. But then if you go to a camp where they have different prisons have different sentences, different sentences. Like Angola they're trying to make it like mostly lifers right now. You might go to like they call satellite jails, and you probably can't have no more than 20 years or 30 years or whatever. Some of them take 40 years, 40, 50 years. Some of them are satellite jails, but it's dangerous because you got a man up here, let's say my situation, I'm sentenced to 40 years, and it's real serious to me, and I've been gone almost 20. Now you got me in this camp with these little youngsters who got 3 years. You really don't care, he ain't got nothing to lose, he out of his mind. They got a bunch of them. It's easy to get a conflict, with them, because they tripping. They driving reckless, and you're trying to watch out from them. But here you go, you done got an altercation with them. Now I'm set back 2 years because I done got them. I'm trying to stop one of them from trying to fight me. Hold on, man, you tripping, y'all. And grab them and people don't see it like that. They don't want to hear. I'm trying to stop them. No, y'all was fighting, and boom, that's it. Y'all getting right up. Simple fight. Boom, now I got to wait 2 years to be eligible again for the law that came in effect. But anyway, like I said, I got home because of Act 133, which is called 2045. 20 years, served 20 years, would be 45 years old. So when the law did come in effect, I was 43. I was 44. No, I was 43. I hadn't made 44 yet, so I had to do like an extra year and something until I turned 45 years old to become eligible for parole. Now sometimes they would let dudes go up 6 months earlier, and you go home on your 45th birthday. You make 45, they'll let you go home.
So that speedy process, though? Like was it? Like once you did, once they figure out you've been there 20 years and you're over 45. It don't take long after that if everything lined up or what?
Okay, so when they sent me a new rap sheet in the mail, they started getting rap sheets. Boom, they sent me a new rap sheet, Act 133. They had it highlighted. My eligibility date was on my birthday, right? So that was my eligibility date. That don't mean I was gonna go on that date. It could be before, it could be after. Which in my case, it was after. I had made 45 in September, but I didn't go up until November. Matter of fact, I went up November the 14th. I went up November the 14th. It was 3-judge panel, all of them granted. They're like, man, he fulfilled all the requirements in prison. He took this class, that class. He tutored in school. He mentored. I really gave back. I really pulled myself. At the same time, I got me too. I got me a carpentry trade. I got certified. Deal with the food.
Right.
I got an associate's degree in general studies with emphasis in business. And I really got that one because I'm business minded. I'm really entrepreneur gene. It's hereditary.
Weasel.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Weasel. Right, my dad read all day.
Weasel.
So I said I'm losing the train of thought. Oh, so I made parole on November the 14th, 2023. I made parole that day. So I think it was a Tuesday. And I asked the man, a classification guy at the prison I was at, I was like, man, when I'm gonna get released? That's what my family wanted to do. I had, I want to say I had about 10 people, 12 people, because it was like, wow, I was 14 people that had came, represented for me there. Matter of fact, they came with these shirts on right here, look.
Free Ali.
Free Ali. They had, no, they didn't come, they were supposed to. My brother had this a shirt on, like this. Because the lady even asked that on the parole board. She said, what is that shirt? Let me see that shirt. She was even impressed by that. She was like, that's wonderful. I like that. Because, they heard my story, my whole life story.
Right.
Yeah, and the people really knew what really happened with my situation. How they had the rumors on the street. Oh, it was a behind a female. Oh, the drug deal went bad.
Right.
Oh, he took a hit. That was all lies. The truth was, this dude was trying to jack something, straight up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get into that on another situation.
Right,
tell you about this dude jackets and all that. This is how I got out of prison.
Right.
So, like I said, November the 14th, 2023, I made the parole. It took 17 days for me to get discharged. I got discharged on December the 1st, 2023. And like I said, that act came into play, and all of it was for the help dudes get out, people get out of prison. And you got to look at dudes been gone, like my situation, 20 years,
20
or 30 years.
Yeah.
Some of them dudes was like, kind of like hopeless, like, and it's understandable. So they was getting write-up. Damn right, I don't care about no write-up. Not knowing this law was gonna kick in. You know what I'm saying? And I was, like I said, blessed to have my jacket straight. And when it came in effect, like I said, I had to wait. It came, my eligibility was September. But I went up in November, a few months out. Yeah, next thing you know, 17 days after I made the board, I was released. But they had dudes and I'm talking about sitting there looking like, man, I just got rolled up last week.
Right.
Man, they've been gone longer than me. Sitting in there.
Damn.
And then next thing you know, this new administration hit right now. Man, they must have shut the doors on people, man. All right, come, man. They fighting now, man, like C murdered them, man.
Right.
I mean,
You
like
think C gonna ever get out?
Man, he gonna get out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna run that, but like I said, I have to cut you off. Let me just end this one for now.
No.
I just wanted to let them know about this 2045, the Act 133, and that's how I got out of prison.
Right.
That's my story.